What is going on the third dimensional plane right now that we know as the Earth Matrix? This is gonna get a little bit weird. Which one of my videos don't, but you know, I think you know what you're getting into when you look at my content. We are talking about somewhat of what the current events are that's going on right now and how this relates back to the energetic beings that are essentially fucking with humans on Earth right now. Take that as you will, but there are energetic beings. I speak about them a lot on my channel, and they are basically, they have no bodies. They've made a pact with Satan. They are electrical beings. I do have a few videos on them if you want to check those out, if you so desire. But basically, this is going to be for someone who's already familiar with what I call the satanic mafia of the fourth dimensional plane. These entities have essentially made a pact with Satan. Satan can be, if you want to personify that as a person, or you can take that as an energy. Either which way, in the name of Satan, they have made a pact. And with this pact, they cannot move above the fourth dimensional plane. They can do whatever they want 4D and lower. So 3D is like their own personal playground. And the best way that I can describe this before I get into details is by saying, let's say, I'm gonna go for me. You might have other examples, but when I was a little kid, I used to have Barbie dolls, and I had the house, and I had cars for them, and whatever, right? Barbie dolls, okay, I had that. I would construct a world for them, and I would have, you know, the little chairs and the hairbrush and the vanities, and I think I had a fucking swimming pool at one point. I don't even know, okay? But I had a whole Barbie world, okay? Basically, I was playing with these dolls that I created a world for, right? Like, I created that, you know, I set up the house how I wanted it to look, and I had them dressed in the outfits that I wanted them to wear. And at times, I was like, damn, like, that shit looks pimp. Like, I created this construct, like, shit, I want to live in there. That shit looks like fun. But guess what? The Barbies were not me. The Barbies were made of plastic. I was made of an organic flesh suit. And so I couldn't. So never the twain should meet. I was just there. I was moving them around and I was manipulating them what I wanted them to do. They had this pimp ass fucking mansion and nice cars and all of that. But no matter what, could I shrink and go down and do all of that with them and be them? No, I couldn't. So you might have had other toys that you played with, or you might have even drawn pictures of like a world that you really liked, and you were just like, damn, like, that shit looks pimp. Like, I would like to live in there. Because, or if you've had a video game, okay, if you've had a video game that you really enjoyed and you're like, damn, these characters, like, look at all the amazing things that they're doing, and they're able to fly and blah blah blah, right? Like, you get lost in that, like, sort of illusion, but at the same time you created it, so you're like, damn, like, I made this pimp ass shit and I can't even join in the fun over there. Like, what kind of shit is that? So that's the best way that I can describe it with this matrix construct. So the matrix, the information that I have right now on that, like, that's conveyed to me, is that it's part of like 4D reality construction, right? So it's condensed energy that it's just slowed down to physical matter, and then that's sort of like the matrix is like the illusion, right? Like, I'm sure you know what the matrix means. I don't need to explain it, but basically it's like these entities that created this little world for the humans in the human vessels. They're like, shit, like, that looks like a pimp ass place to be, right? They can't ascend higher to 5D and above because they've made a fucking pact with Satan or for whatever reason, but they're like, shit, man, like, I want to be in that. They're sort of like, they're playing with these characters, but at the same time, like, when I use the analogy with me and wanting to be in, like, you know, the mansion or whatever, it's like, but I can't, like, damn, that's fucked up. But I created this fucking world and I can't even be in it, right? So that's why demonic possession occurs. Not every reason, but sometimes. That is why the current events are going on right now. So we want to take the dollhouse metaphor, and then we're going to expand on that from here just to break it down. So there's this amazing world that, like, the ones who are in it, it's just, that's their world, right? They don't know it's fucking fake, right? They don't, you know, a lot of motherfuckers don't know they're living in the Matrix right now, just saying. So these beings, these entities created this little world and they can't be in it. And, you know, the ones that are in there, they're in it and they have this like wonderful world created for them, right? But the beings that originally created that world are wanting to join in on the fun, let's say. So this can happen through demonic possession. That's probably the most common. This can happen also if, let's say, someone is cloned, okay? If you don't believe me, you could do your own research on human cloning if you'd like. I'm just gonna throw that out there. So there can be a clone, there can be a demonically possessed body, right? Because there has to be some sort of vessel that is compatible with the third dimensional reality construct, or else these beings cannot enter. They cannot enter and maneuver around and stay in a very long time in this third dimensional reality construct because they are electric. They're not compatible with the ecosystem here. The ecosystem here is whatever the fuck it is. Human bodies are compatible with Earth, with the Earth matrix. Energetic beings, sure, they could move objects or they could inhabit a physical body, but by themselves as simply an energetic electrical being, they're not going to be able to be compatible for a very long time with the environment on Earth. They're not. That's why a great example of this, not similar, but a really good example, which I can tell you in a movie, because they always fucking show us what they're fucking doing in the movie, right? Is in War of the Worlds at the end, spoiler alert by the way, at the end of War of the Worlds, and I'm talking about the one with Tom Cruise in it. I know there were like a few of them, but that's the one I've seen. So basically at the end of the movie, the narrator came on, whoever it was, and said something to the effect of what was the demise of the alien invaders was that their organic bodies were just not compatible with Earth. Like, so basically the atmosphere of being on Earth killed them because they were not compatible with it. They were from another planet. So that's the best way to describe it with these electric, energetic beings, because they're pure energy, right? They don't have bodies. So sure, they could focus their energy and manipulate things in the physical realm, but that takes a lot out of them. That takes a lot out of them. Recently, I watched the movie Ghost. It was on YouTube for free. I don't know why, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna just watch it. I was called to watch it. So watch that movie. There's a lot of symbolism in there. And I saw the number 33 in there. I know I fucking did. So you know what that means. Anyway, so they explain a lot in there, but it takes a lot of energy out of the electrical being because they have to slow their vibration to such an extent, because their energy, right? They have to slow down if they want to participate in the third dimensional plane. So the easiest way to get around that, it's like they become exhausted easily if they try to slow down the vibration, right? Whereas someone in a human suit, they are a spiritual being and they're a soul that has a little flesh and blood suit that they're piloting around, but they don't need to slow their vibration to be on Earth. They can do that naturally because the human body was designed to be compatible with the elements of the Earth matrix. So 4D entities have to enter energetically through a possession, or if they inhabit the body of a clone, or there has to be something linking them to a human flesh suit type of consciousness. Okay, so let's say if there's a clone of someone, and we're getting wild up in here, so I mean, just roll with it, right? So let's say, because demonic possession, that's just, okay, it's, you already know what that is, right? But let's go, for example, because you're probably like, well, a clone is not the real person, and that's not a flesh suit, right? Okay, cool. It's not the real person, but it was based off of something. It was grown, it was extrapolated from something that once was in a human flesh suit. So the clone only needs one thing, one organic anything from the original flesh suit I'm not talking about a piece of hair, okay? We're not making a voodoo doll here, okay? A piece of hair is dead. A piece of hair is dead even when it's on your head. That's what I said. So they have to have something like a cell sample or some part of that DNA, a piece of flesh. I don't know, okay? I've never made a clone, but just from what I channel, it has to be something organic that is alive from that original individual. So they're not clipping toenails and then, oh, here, we're gonna give that to the clone. No, it has to be something that is like a living specimen that they have to keep alive, a portion of that, even if it's not the whole person. They have to keep a portion of that thing living and breathing in whatever artificial environment. And then they take that and they design the clone, but the clone has to have a piece of that flesh or else it's not going to be fully compatible with Earth. They now can inhabit, right, because the AI, the artificial intelligence with the clone, is electronic, right? It's run off of a machine. These are electrical beings, so they can get into something that is based off of electricity. And they have the freedom of being in that body unrestricted because that clone body is having a part of that whoever person it was that is still alive in it. So it's compatible with Earth because it's based off of a living specimen of an Earth creature, but it's also electrical. It's artificial intelligence. It's essentially a very complex computer. Who can inhabit that now? Any one of the fourth dimensional entities that chooses to, or that was selected to, or however they do that. Okay, maybe they draw straws. Who wants to, inhabit a clone today? I do. Okay, I don't know how the fuck that works. Okay, maybe I'll get some more information at some point, but right now we're just whoever wants to, jump in and pilot the fucking whoever it is enterprise, and they go in there and they're able to stay on Earth and participate in that virtual reality, that high-tech matrix, right, that they created, and they're like, oh shit, this shit is fun, right? Sometimes the clone malfunctions, and that's why I'm sure you know some examples. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm sure you do, or if you don't, you can just search that, okay? Clone malfunctioning, human clone malfunctioning. You're going to get a few interesting names, that's all I'm going to say. So, leading that to the current events. Now, I'm going to be a little bit meticulous how I word this because this is my truth. This is just what is conveyed to me. So if you resonate, you do. If you don't, you don't. But this is what's conveyed to me. How this relates to the current events on Earth at this time is that there are certain electronic devices that can be injected into a human. Whatever it is. And you can look this up. There was something like an electronic microchip that someone was able to like swipe their hand and they were able to get like a soda out of one of those vending machines or something. So you can look that up. This is what's going on. But let's just say whatever injections are going on that you can inject into a human body, electronic operating systems based off of electricity may be present in there. Not saying it is or it isn't, but there is, because I just told you, you can Google that technology yourself. There is technology available to inject an operating system, an AI, an artificial intelligence, a sort of like robot, an electrical thing, an electrical software into the human body. And now, guess what? That opens the doorway for these entities on the fourth dimensional plane, because guess what? The human who's walking around, right, they're already compatible biologically with Earth and the Earth matrix, so they're just chilling, right? But a demonic entity wants to possess them, and the human is like, nah, fuck that shit, right? Like, so now they don't have access, right? How are they gonna get inside that body and live out, in their little virtual reality world for shits and giggles? Electronics have no sentient consciousness, so they cannot refuse the demonic possession. Whereas a human, because they are sentient, they can refuse. If you don't have consent from the human, you ain't entering their motherfucking body. Consent is different than coercion, but coercion typically leads to uninformed consent, just FYI. But now let's say the human has been injected with whatever it is. Now there's an electronic device in that human. Guess who can come to play in the body of that human via the electronic device? Because now the human is blended with a machine, essentially, that AI, that artificial intelligence. So the human might sentiently and consciously, like, not even know that they're possessed, but because that electronic device that has been injected into them, no sentience. It can't say yes, it can't say no. It's just, it's waiting for directions, right? It's just sort of like, okay, or it's meant to program, or whatever the fuck that electronic device is meant to do. It's not sentient. It doesn't have a consciousness. So it's essentially neutral. So it's like a neutral portal for whatever demonic entity wants to come through and utilize that portal to now utilize the organic human body on the third dimensional plane. So you might ask, why are they doing this? If they have all the power they want, they're electrical beings, they don't have bodies, they don't have to worry about putting on deodorant or whatever the fuck, right? That humans, I fucking hope humans are wearing deodorant. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Anyway, so they have the freedom of not having a body, but at the same time, because they've made a pact with Satan, the energy of Satan, whatever it is, whatever that means to them, because it's going to mean different things to different beings, right? They made that energy pact, and now they cannot elevate to that higher plane of 5D and above with that love energy, that calm contentedness. They can have all the power and everything that they want, right? Even if they were to come into a human body via whichever means, they are not operating at the frequency of love. They are operating from a place of inner conflict. Now, I'm not exactly sure how that would equate to them, but this is just from what I've channeled. They're operating from a place of restlessness. So no matter whatever things they acquire, whoever person they acquire, whatever they're doing on the third dimensional plane, or even in the fourth dimensional plane for that matter, they're never going to be satisfied because they're not in love energy. Love energy is just, if you're in love energy, you're just, satisfaction is everything. You are satisfied because you are love. When you are love, you don't want for anything. You just be that, right? 5D energy and above, that love energy, you be it, and it is. So nothing is apart, nothing is separate. And because the illusion of separateness from the other, from the all, is not present, when someone is in that presence of love, when they are in that I am love state, they are completely satisfied in everything that they do, because they know that it all comes from within them. They know that they are everything that they desire. So to attempt to seek something, why the fuck are you doing that? I am that, so why would I need to seek it elsewhere? So when someone is in that fourth dimensional entity, there can be a lot of money, there can be a lot of shiny things, there can be a lot of notches on one's headboard. Whatever it is that the fourth dimensional vibrating entity wants and desires, sure, they'll have that, they'll have plenty, but guess what? They want more. They want more. They want more, right? Someone could have trillions of dollars at their disposal. They're still going to want more. That's why a lot of individuals I've seen this online, like, I don't know, but I see a lot of questioning. If someone has XYZ amount of dollars, why would they even want more than what they have, right? Shouldn't they be satisfied? Sure, in theory, right? And anyone can have an unlimited amount of wealth. I'm just letting you know, anyone. It doesn't have to be a fourth dimensional. You can be at a love vibration and have trillions of dollars at your disposal whenever, but you're not going to view it in the same way as someone who's operating at a 4D or 3D level is going to view it. So they will always want more when they're operating from that fourth dimensional perspective, because through that barter, through that deal with the devil, so to speak, what did they do? They have everything that anyone could fucking want. They could have influence, they could have money, they could have cars, they could have anyone in their fucking bedroom at any point that they want, right? But they're always going to want more because they're empty. And that is why they do it. That is why they want more. They're never satisfied, ever, ever. Do you know why? Because they do not vibrate from the energy of love. They vibrate from the energy of lack. So you can have this individual that's, I'm picturing like DuckTales money bin swimming through gold coins and shit. That's not enough for them. It will never be enough. Nothing will ever be enough for the satanic agreement individual. Whatever that means to you, that's how I'm conveying it. That's how I'm seeing it. So when you make a deal with the devil, wealth, riches, someone feeding you grapes, red carpet, blah, 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 whatever. It's going to be different for everyone. They are not ever going to be satisfied. And that is a very easy way to spot someone who's operating from a fourth dimensional perspective. Whether they've made a deal with the devil or if they haven't, okay? But someone who is operating not from a place of love, 5D energy and above, they're never going to be satisfied. And that's why when I'm talking about this little 3D matrix here that I'm saying, you know, they and them, why would they even want to, like, they don't have bodies, they're free and blah, blah, blah. No, they're not satisfied. They're never going to be satisfied. That's why they make up things to start chaos. That's why they want to be more in the human experience, because they feel, here's a paradox for you, they feel envious because the human can ascend to 5D and above, but they can't. So they're trying to be like a human, but they cannot. Number one, they're not fully human, okay? I mean, maybe some of them have had past lives in a human suit before, but you make a deal with the devil, I mean, bruh, you ain't ascending to anything higher than 4D. That's not going to happen, right? So they envy the human and they want to be in that little matrix. Number one, because it's a lot of fucking fun. But number two, also, because remember, they're operating from a place of lack, right? Everything, I want everything, right? And it's never enough. It's never going to be enough. It just isn't, right? Because they're continually operating from a place of lack. So they always feel they need to accumulate more, right? So they see the human, and this can be, you know, a third dimensional entity as well, you know, a fourth dimensional entity. Anyone that's operating from that place of lack, they're always going to want more. They're never going to be satisfied. But the satanic mafia, see into that little wonderful matrix world that they created, and they're operating from a place of lack. Maybe if I inhabit a human body, I'll feel complete, I'll feel whole. That's what they think. Because they see humans, right? Because they can observe from a different perspective than a human. They can still see into the 3D. But they see humans that are genuinely happy, but they don't, I don't know if they realize or not. I don't want to speak on that. You know, if I get more information, I will let you know. But they're just seeing the human operating from a place of love. They're seeing that and they want in on that too. Maybe if I'm in a human body, then I could be that at peace and that calm. But they can't. They sign that shit away. They're not, like, it's funny. It's really the ultimate paradox, right? Because you can have all the wealth, all the fame, all the bedmates you want, you know, and it's still not going to be enough. So they want more, right? But you have everything, right? Like, a lot of humans are looking at some of these individuals that are operating from that plane, and they're like, wow, like they want to be like that because they have X, they have Y, they have Z, right? They don't know what the fuck that motherfucker signed away to get to there, right? They don't know that. So the 4D entity is like, well, maybe if I'm in this human body, then I can feel whole and I can feel complete. That's what they're thinking. I don't know if that's exactly what they're thinking, but something to that effect, right? Because they see other humans that have a lot of financial wealth, and they have the perfect partner, and they have the dream home and the dream car, blah, blah, blah. But what they envy is not the tangible evidence of contentment. They envy the feeling, the knowing of contentedness. Because no matter what they do, the fourth dimensional entity, the one that has bartered with Satan, they're always going to be in a state of lack. And so they think, well, okay, let's try to fuck shit up on the 3D realm. Let's inhabit these bodies. Let's try to do this. Like they think it's going to bring them satisfaction, and it isn't. Because the satisfaction comes from the 5D and higher perspective. So anyone operating at a fourth dimensional or third dimensional level, they tend to never be satisfied with anything ever. So you can look at them and be like, what are you complaining about? Like, what are you doing, bro? And they're just like, and you're just like, whoa, I'm gonna be over here, don't try to find me, you know? So that's the main reason. If you're wondering why would they care about getting into a human body or creating mayhem for the humans or whatever, it's because they're never satisfied. There's always going to be restlessness because they signed away basically the frequency of love. So they can be pleased, right? Like they can be pleased, like yes, it worked, right? Like they can be pleased, but they're not going to be having an inner peace about it. They're gonna be like, that worked, what else can I do, right? Let me move on to this one. It's like diabolical energy. It's like the best way I can describe it. So with the current events that are going on right now, I just, I preach what I see. If it resonates with you, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's so evident and obvious to me that I'm just like, I don't know how motherfuckers don't see it. I mean, I guess if you're not like dabbling in like the astral realm or, 5D or whatever, I guess if you're not doing that, you might not see it. Although things are getting more and more obvious as this plays out. But that's my perspective. That's what I got for you today. I am Oculus, the alien next door, and we will chit chat again soon.